All right, welcome everybody to my way too early tier list. This is kind of my reaction based on the first games that we've seen, and I'm going to talk through where I kind of power rank these teams and their potential. Again, this is super early, and we'll see how this develops over the course of the season. We'll revisit it for fun, but for now, this is where I'm going to rank the teams. And kicking it off first, we're going to go with the Golden State Valkyries. Again, this team is a team that is full of the underdogs. You're going to want to root for them. It's going to be hype when they win a game, but really it's a team, because it's an expansion team, that's built full of the fringe starters, the players that get to punch above their weight. But that's the exciting part too, is that they're going to get a lot more time than they got in their previous teams. They're going to get to be starters. You're going to get to see more of them. You're going to get to see some high potential. So excited to see the Valkyries as they develop throughout the season and root for them. But because of the way that they're constructed and starting, it's going to be hard for them to match up against a lot of these other teams with a lot of firepower. And I look forward to them, becoming a real contender in the future years. But with that said, now we go to the Chicago Sky, who got drummed by the Fever. And really, I think that Tyler has his hands full with this one, because there's just a lot of players that didn't seem like they were taking steps forward. Angel Reese hit a three, but otherwise still struggled finishing underneath the basket. Camille Cardoso looked timid versus, what you really want to see is strong attempts at going to the basket. And then really their guard play, Errol Atkins, got underutilized in my opinion, besides guarding Caitlin Clark. And she made a few shots, and she was their only scorer besides Haley Van Lith to actually have a good shooting percentage. But they can't run Vandersloot into the ground. They can't do that. She was already got popped out to the sixth woman on the Liberty, got brought out of the starting rotation during their championship run for a reason, because she's getting longer in the tooth. And while she can facilitate your offense, you have to have a plan B that goes with that. And right now, it looks like the Sky just have a lot of work to do to find their identity and get their players into shape. And they don't really have that spark plug that they had last year with Kennedy Carter. And it's very apparent in their first game. Next up, we have the Dallas Wings with the #1 overall pick, Paige Beckers, who I think that actually didn't have as bad of a game as it was kind of touted. Yes, 3 for 10 isn't good, but she's a rookie and she looked confident out there. The shot wasn't falling. But otherwise, she was against a very good team in the Lynx, which makes sense that you would struggle in that game. I think that overall, the Wings just structurally have issues, mainly that they're an offensive team that's going to hang a lot of points on you, but they don't have a great defense. They don't have a reliable big or anyone that they can really for sure go to. So a lot of it is on their high flyers and shooters to have to be making shots night in, night out. And that's just a tough recipe in a very competitive league like the WNBA. So we will see how they develop going forward. Next up, we have the Connecticut Sun, who are not actually just tanking the season. It seems like they are relying a lot on their veterans. Marina Mayberry facilitating, shooting threes. They're trusting her with the end of game shot. It wasn't falling the first night, but the formula with Tina Charles and the rest of the team, it looks good. It looks like they have a good formula to night in, night out, be competitive. They're leading most of the game against a Mystics team that looks very, very promising. And so I think that they'll be pretty solid. I don't know if they'll make the playoffs, but they're better than my initial impressions based on the first game. Next up, we have the Atlanta Dream. Again, incredibly talented team. They bring in BG. Ryan Howard has an off game. They're missing Jordan Canada. I think that this team can make the playoffs if they can pull it together. They were one of the dark horse teams that I was rooting for last year to make a run, make an impact. They made it into the playoffs on the heels of the Indiana Fever and other teams. And so we'll see how they develop as a team as well. I think that they have a lot of pieces that could be explosive, could be powerful night in, night out. We'll just see if they can actually keep up with some of the other teams, which I think just have a little bit better rosters up above here. Next up, we have the Seattle Storm, who the word I used was anemic, which is what their offense looked like. It was not good. A lot of the pundits that were touting to Dominique Malonga that she was going to come in, she was going to start dunking on people, she was going to be a barn burner, she was going to be better than Paige Beckers. Maybe down the road, yes, but at least we need to hold our horses. we're being too ambitious with the projections. I think it's very clear that she needs time to gel with the offense. The offense needs time to find their rhythm, find their shot. At the end of the day, I think that this roster is too talented to not perform. And if they don't, then I think that the organization needs to take a hard look at the structure of the team and that kind of stuff, because this team should not be having that kind of performance on night one. At 7, I have the Sparks. Kelsey Plum is her. She's the captain of the team. She's taken over. She's given them a lot of oomph in the offensive firepower of this team. Although as she goes, so is going to go the team. They're still missing Cam Brink. I think that she will, if she can take a step forward. She hasn't been playing a lot of basketball, obviously, because of the injury. So hopefully when she comes back, she can get up to speed and be an impact player. The rest of the team looks good. Azariah Stevenson and Hamby look good. They look solid. The team is functioning. It's just a question of, can they kind of hit that next level? Will Cameron Brink kind of put them over the edge? Will they be too inconsistent if Kelsey Plum can't have a good night? That's really their outstanding questions for this team. And at number 6, we have, again, I think this team is fun. I think the league is going to fall in love with this team. They're kind of like my Fever-esque type team where rookies are, or a rookie in the Fever's case, but the rookies are making a huge difference for the team. Sonia and Kiki are playing like they're WNBA veterans. They're taking it to Tia and Charles. They're taking over the game when they have to. And I think that's the biggest upgrade for this roster, that, you know, you thought it would take some time, and no, they're off to the races. And that bodes well because the rest of the good mystic pieces are there. Brittany Sykes is the heart and soul of the team. She's being a great leader. They have the veteran leadership. They have players like Stephanie Dolson that can supplement as well. And also they're missing Aaliyah Edwards. Aaliyah Edwards is arguably the best player on this team, not named Brittany Sykes. And I think that when she gets back in, this team is going to be even better than they've shown so far. So, man, sky's the limit for the Mystics. I don't think they have what it takes to really challenge with the upper echelon teams and be a contender, but they're going to surprise. They could win a first round playoff game. I think that they're on the right track. They're on the right track. Next up at number 5, Phoenix Mercury. Satu Sabali looks great. AT is obviously one of the better players in the WNBA, a player that a lot of GMs would say that they would build a team around, or would be a key piece to a team. And I think that overall the Mercury have done a good job in the post Diana Taurasi BG era of rebuilding the squad and still having that championship winning level. And they don't even have Kalia Copper yet. Once they get Ka back, they're going to be even more deadly. I think that they're shooing for the playoffs. They're a powerhouse. I don't think that they're going to contend with the teams above them, just because while they have a good big 3, I think the rest of the pieces around them aren't going to take them deep enough in a long series. And so with that, we have the Aces. So Aces are at number 4. Again, they have Asia Wilson. She's one of the best players in the league, hands down, plays both ends of the floor. The problem is that Jackie Young is inconsistent. Chelsea Gray is still not to prime Chelsea Gray. We're probably not going to see prime Chelsea Gray again. She's good. She's a good point guard, but I think the main disappointment for this recent games was Jewel Lloyd. And Jewel Lloyd, if she finds her shot and she becomes another Kelsey Plum, this team is back in business. I think it's just a matter of whether she gets the mental toughness and finds her shot again. And if she does, then great. The Aces can start to make a play and maybe start to be a threat for a championship. But right now, it looks like too much is relying on Asia Wilson. They're going to win a lot of games, but I don't know if they're going to beat the top teams above them. So next up, we have the Indiana Fever, which personally, the Indiana Fever, if I was following my heart, I would just say that the Indiana Fever are number 1. And I think that really what it comes down to is the offense is even better. Caitlin Clark has made steps forward. Aaliyah Boston has made steps forward. Kelsey Mitchell is solid as ever. Lexi Hall has showed improvement, but the offseason pieces they've brought in with DeWanna Bonner and Natasha Howard have showed improvement for the roster. Sophie Cunningham hasn't got to play yet, but offensively they're better, but defensively they're better, because last year their offense was really good, especially down the stretch. They were looking like one of the best offenses in the league. I think that this year they could be the best offense in the league. And then their defense, though, that was the piece that was missing. I always said that like if they could have a middle of the pack defense last year, they would do damage in the playoffs. Unfortunately, their defense could just never materialize this year. I think they could have a top 3 defense if they can gel and play together. Caitlin Clark has showed improvement. I think that this team, if they have a top 3 defense, I think that they're a contender. They're a championship level team. But right now, I have them as my 3rd best team because the next 2 teams just have a better pedigree right now and deep rosters as well. And number 2, which might be a little bit surprised, is the New York Liberty. A lot of people have them as their number 1. I don't think that's necessarily wrong. I think that all the teams in the top 3 are kind of in that championship contender tier. I think Natasha Cloud looks like one of the greatest pickups ever for the Liberty. Marina Johannes looks great, but Natasha Cloud is the difference maker. Physicality, emotional leader, and having another veteran leader on that team with that much talent around her. I think that this team's going to be super dangerous. They're probably going to have a similar wins to last year. They're going to be a difficult team to beat, and they're going to be one of the best championship contenders on our list. But the only team better that I feel like, and obviously the last team, is the Lynx. Now, I am a little bit of a homer for Alana Smith, but I think that Shepard is the big difference for this team. Adding her in, making this deep roster even better, even more consistent. They're super long. They're super tough to deal with. Defensively, they can match up really well against a New York Liberty team, which I think is the other kind of key thing is in the head-to-head. Fee is on that, has that chip on her shoulder like the Liberty did last year, where she wants to prove a point. Right now, she's looking good. She's looking consistent. Great opening night, great follow-up game. They didn't need her as much because Alana Smith was doing so much. Courtney Williams has games where she's taking over and her shot is that jumper be beautiful as always. I think that this team is right now, as it looks, the number 1 contender for the championship in the WNBA. But, who knows? Things could change throughout the season. Again, I've talked about a lot of these top 3 teams. I think that they have something that the other teams don't, where they have the best coaches in the league, and they also have the deepest rosters compared to every other team in the WNBA. And with that, let me know what you think down in the comments below. Which team did I get wrong? What am I out of my mind about in my placements? Let me know below. If you think it's great, then awesome. And as always, remember, you're going to be amazing today because you are amazing. And I'll catch you next episode.